27,000 tons of capacity, and this should be enough to deal with all the contaminated water. However, it needs several days to check if the waste treatment facility doesn't have any cracks, and the new tanks won't come until next month. And these works must be carried out while controlling radiation exposure of workers. At number 2 reactor, radiation level is very high, more than 1,000 C-volts per hour. So the workers have to wear protective gear and 3 layers of gloves, which makes it hard to do minute works. So it is going to take several weeks or more to drain contaminated water.
Chief Cabinet Secretary Yukio Edano said that it is hard to estimate when the situation will stabilize. Now, when can the fuel rods be cooled safely? Is it really impossible to predict when?
It is still not clear whether TEPCO can deal with all the contaminated water. Even if all the contaminated water that exists now is emptied, the water is being poured in every day to cool down the reactors. Even though it is not all of the water is leaking, but the contaminated water, the amount of contaminated water is increasing every day. So it has to be dealt with, the leaking points have to be dealt with somehow. If the leak points cannot be covered, we will have to keep pouring water into reactors and wait for the reactors to cool down. And there are 3 reactors in question, so it is going to take a long time. So for now, we can watch the condition of reactors, deal with contaminated water as soon as possible, and identify the leaking points and draw up measures to deal with them.
South Korea's government has launched a task force to deal with growing domestic concern over radiation contamination following Japan's nuclear accident. The task force consists of officials from related ministries, including those dealing with foreign affairs and food. It will address the issue of the release of contaminated water from the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant, as well as ways to secure food safety in South Korea.
Considering how close we are to Japan, it's only natural for South Koreans to feel uneasy. We can't ignore their concerns and will address them with strong safety measures.
South Korea's Nuclear Safety Agency says the current situation poses no threat to human health. Russian Prime Minister Vladimir Putin has instructed specialists to continue closely monitoring radiation levels in areas near Japan. Putin made a statement at a meeting on disaster measures with Russian emergency ministry officials and meteorological experts on Tuesday. He said the situation at the nuclear power plant has not improved, and that his country must be absolutely sure of the reliability of information concerning Russian territory. Russian President Dmitry Medvedev has urged the governor of Sakhalin to ease anxiety among residents by keeping them informed about radiation levels. Russia has been monitoring radiation levels at 630 locations in the Far East, including Sakhalin. Its aircraft and ships are surveying the atmosphere and seawater in regions near Japan. Russia says radiation levels are normal so far. Japan says it will keep neighboring nations fully informed about the steps it is taking to tackle the ongoing emergency at the power plant. The Chief Cabinet Secretary made the pledge following critical remarks from South Korea.
All the ministers and agencies involved, and also to the neighboring nations, we probably should have reported to the people who may be concerned, especially to the neighboring countries. We have now instructed the Foreign Ministry and the Ministry of Industry to cooperate so that we can provide detailed information to neighboring countries whenever we take further measures like this.
Tokyo Electric Power Company has been dumping low-level contaminated water in the sea since Monday. The discharge is needed to create storage space for highly radioactive water that has collected in the turbine building of the number 2 reactor. Complaints have been voiced in South Korea that Japan failed to notify neighboring countries in advance about releasing contaminated water. On Monday, South Korea's Foreign Affairs and Trade Ministry conveyed its concern to Japan's ministry.